Done. Delivered with conviction, pauses for emphasis, and emotional cadence. You know there's something the world still doesn't quite understand. It misunderstands the quiet strength. It overlooks the stillness that doesn't scream for attention, but commands it. And too often it underestimates the power of a woman who walks with God. Now, let me tell you something. A woman who knows who she is. A woman who wakes up every day and bows her head before she raises her voice. A woman who prays before she moves. That woman, she don't need to prove anything to anybody because she already knows peace. She's covered. She's anointed. She's armored in something the world can't touch. You see, men might build armies. They might carry weapons. They might stand shoulder to shoulder and think numbers make them mighty. But one woman walking in her purpose, guided by her creator, that woman has the strength to shift nations, raise generations, and silence storms. And I've seen it done. I've seen that kind of strength in mothers who never gave up, in daughters who rose from ashes, in wives who stood tall when everything tried to bring them to their knees. Because when a woman walks with God, she walks with wisdom. She walks with courage. She walks with fire in her soul and peace in her heart. And let me tell you, that kind of strength, it don't crack under pressure. It don't fold when it's tested. It don't run when it's challenged. It stands. So don't you dare measure her by what the world sees. Don't you dare count her out because she's quiet. Because the world's been trying to count out women like her for centuries. But what they forget is this. She's not walking alone. She's walking with the Almighty. And when she moves, heaven moves with her. 1,000 men may stand strong, but one woman with God, she's unshakable, unstoppable. She's already won. True strength is rooted in faith, not numbers. That truth challenges everything the world teaches us about power. Society has long measured strength by muscle, by armies, by wealth, by influence. It looks at how many people stand behind you, how many digits are in your bank account, how loud your voice can echo in a crowd. From the battlefield to the boardroom, we've been taught that power is in the numbers. More soldiers, more followers, more likes, more noise. But real strength doesn't come from numbers. Real strength comes from the source that never runs out. Real strength comes from faith. Done faith is not a feeling. It's not a momentary inspiration. It's not something you just wear on Sundays or talk about when life is easy. Faith is a foundation. It's what holds a person together when everything else is falling apart. It's what keeps your spine straight when the weight of the world is trying to press you down. You can't measure faith in inches or pounds. You can't count it with calculators or surveys, but its impact is undeniable. See, numbers can deceive you. 1,000 men lined up in strength may look impressive. They may shout in unison, stand in formation, carry weapons. But what happens when fear shows up? What happens when pressure cracks the surface, when temptation creeps in, when life doesn't go according to plan? Numbers can scatter. They can fall. They can betray. They can run. But a person rooted in faith, truly grounded in the unchanging power of God, doesn't fold. Because faith isn't based on circumstance. It's built on conviction. Faith says, I may be outnumbered, but I'm not alone. Faith whispers in the dark, keep going. Faith stands tall in the storm and declares, I know who walks with me. It's a kind of power that isn't intimidated by chaos, that isn't silenced by criticism, that isn't shaken by statistics. Faith holds on when reason says to let go. Faith keeps moving when the road disappears. Faith doesn't need a crowd to believe. It just needs a connection to the Creator. You can see it in the woman who kneels before she stands, in the one who's been overlooked, underestimated, ignored, but never broken. the one who's faced heartbreak, rejection, and disappointment, done, and still gets up in the morning with peace in her heart and purpose in her stride. She may not have 1,000 people behind her. She may not have a title, a platform, or applause, but she's got something greater. She's got faith. And that faith makes her stronger than any army. Because when your strength comes from God, it doesn't matter what comes against you. You're not drawing power from people. You're not waiting for approval or validation. You're not depending on what the world can give you. You're standing on a source that can't be drained. That kind of strength shows up in quiet moments. When you choose forgiveness instead of revenge, when you choose to pray instead of panic, when you keep showing up with grace and dignity, even when life tries to tear you down. The world often doesn't recognize that kind of strength right away. It's not loud, it's not flashy. It doesn't demand attention, but it endures. It outlasts. It outshines everything else when the dust settles. Because faith can't be destroyed. It can't be bought. It can't be faked. It's either in you or it's not. And when it's in you, when your soul is anchored in something bigger than yourself, you become a force this world can't explain. So yes, you can gather 1,000 men, you can organize them, train them, prepare them for battle. But give me one woman who walks in step with her God, whose strength flows from faith, not fear, whose power isn't in what she carries, but in who carries her. And I'll show you a kind of might that doesn't crumble. I'll show you a kind of strength that can't be stopped. A woman walking with God is divinely empowered. That empowerment isn't loud or boastful. It doesn't come with flashing lights or grand announcements. It's something deeper, sacred, rooted, and constant. The kind of power that doesn't need to prove itself because it knows where it comes from. It flows from a connection that goes beyond this world, beyond flesh and blood, beyond time. A woman who walks with God isn't just guided, she's charged. She carries a weight that's invisible to the eye, but undeniable in presence. You can feel it when she enters a room. You can hear it in her voice. You can see it in her eyes. The quiet fire, the unshakable calm. She's not moved by trends. She's not swayed by the opinions of the crowd. She walks differently. She speaks with intention. She listens before she reacts because she knows something many people don't, that she is walking with the creator of the universe. She doesn't have to chase validation. She doesn't have to run after every opportunity. Doors open where she steps because God goes before her. That kind of power doesn't come from personality or charm or status. It comes from alignment. It comes from surrender. And surreal surrender isn't weakness. It's the greatest strength of all. When a woman walks with God, she walks with clarity. She doesn't move based on emotion alone. She moves with wisdom, with discernment, with understanding that has been tested by fire. Her intuition is sharpened. Her vision is clear, even when her circumstances are not. She may not know every detail of the journey, but she knows who's writing her story. So she keeps walking. She keeps trusting. She keeps pressing forward, not because the path is easy, but because she knows the one guiding her steps. This divine empowerment is not about superiority. It's not about domination. It's not about control. It's about influence, the kind that transforms atmospheres, that heals wounds, that uplifts the brokenhearted. A woman walking with God doesn't just live for herself. She carries others in her spirit. She intercedes when no one sees. She fights battles in prayer that others don't even know are happening. She builds in silence. She serves with love. She leads without needing a title. Her authority is spiritual, and it cannot be stripped by worldly systems. She understands that her worth is not in what she does, but in who she belongs to. That truth changes everything. It frees her from comparison. It liberates her from insecurity. Because when you know you are chosen, you don't have to compete. When you know God's hand is on your life, you don't need everyone else's hands clapping for you. There is a confidence that rises. Not arrogance, not pride, but holy confidence. A steady belief that what God started in her, He will finish. That she is equipped for every challenge she faces. That her steps are ordered, done, even when they lead through the valley. The world may try to limit her. It may try to label her, box her in, underestimate her value. But the anointing on her life speaks louder than any label. The calling on her soul overrides every stereotype. She doesn't wait for permission to shine. She doesn't wait for an invitation to rise. She knows she was born for purpose, that every struggle has refined her, that every season has shaped her. And that divine empowerment has nothing to do with ease. It has everything to do with endurance. You'll find her in places others avoid, loving the unlovable, forgiving the unforgivable, believing when there's no reason to. That's power. That's strength. That's what happens when heaven breathes into your spirit and says, go. She doesn't walk alone. She walks with grace wrapped around her like armor, with joy that doesn't depend on circumstances, with peace that makes no sense to the outside world. She is still but not stuck. She is soft, not weak. She is kind but not naive. Because walking with God sharpens you. It humbles you. It grows you into someone who can carry weight and still walk with lightness. There's a force in her footsteps. Not because she's forcing her way through life, but because the presence of God is with her. That presence changes how she sees herself. It changes how she sees others. It teaches her to rise above, to see the bigger picture, to fight not with fists, but with faith. And because she walks with God, she never walks in vain. Her life is not just about what she achieves. It's about what she awakens, what she ignites in others, what she bursts in the spirit. Quiet strength holds more power than loud force. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't dominate the room, and it doesn't need to shout to be heard. Quiet strength is calm in chaos, steady in the storm, unmoved by the noise that surrounds it. It's the kind of power that operates beneath the surface, often unnoticed by those who only know how to measure strength by volume. But real power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it stands still when everything else is shaking. Sometimes it simply refuses to give up. There's a kind of strength that doesn't look like power to the untrained eye. It looks like patience. It looks like grace under pressure. It looks like a woman holding her family together with love when life is falling apart. It looks like someone choosing peace when the world says fight back. That's quiet strength. You think I've done. The kind that doesn't need to win every argument because it knows the truth doesn't need defending. The kind that walks away from conflict not because it's weak, but because it understands not every battle is worth fighting. Quiet strength is forged in silence. It's built in private moments, in the late nights of prayer, in the mornings where tears fall and no one sees, in the decisions made when no one is watching. Loud force might look impressive. It charges ahead, breaks things, shakes things, but it doesn't last. It burns out. It needs constant attention, constant recognition, constant push. Quiet strength doesn't. It sustains, it holds, it endures. It's not afraid of being misunderstood. It doesn't flinch when it's overlooked because it knows that strength isn't proven in how much noise you can make. It's proven in how much pressure you can handle without losing your integrity. Done. Quiet strength can stand in a room full of shouting voices and still hold its ground. It can face injustice, betrayal, adversity, and still choose character over chaos. It's not passive. It's not weak. It's disciplined. It's restrained. And that restraint is power done. You see it in the woman who keeps showing up even when no one says thank you. In the one who chooses forgiveness when she had every reason to hate. In the one who loves with depth even though life has tried to make her hard. She doesn't wear her strength on her sleeve. It's in her soul. She doesn't announce her power. She lives it. She speaks life in a world that tries to silence her. And when others would break, she bends. She bends but never snaps, because what's inside her can't be shaken by what's around her. Loud force reacts. Quiet strength responds. Loud force tries to control. Quiet strength trusts. Loud force is rooted in ego. Quiet strength is grounded in purpose. And purpose doesn't need to be loud. Purpose doesn't need to be validated. Purpose just needs to be walked out, one faithful step at a time. And that's what quiet strength does. It keeps moving. It keeps building. It keeps believing. People often miss it because it doesn't fit the world's definition of power. The world celebrates noise. It elevates flash. It rewards aggression. But heaven sees things differently. Heaven sees the woman who holds her tongue when she could curse. Heaven sees the one who weeps in secret but still smiles in public. Heaven sees the silent battles fought in the mind, the heart, the soul, and counts them as victories. Quiet strength is a mother rocking her child in the dark, whispering prayers no one hears. It's the woman showing up to work with excellence while carrying invisible burdens. It's the leader who makes decisions based on conviction, not applause. It's the wife who fights for her marriage without making it a public war. It's the daughter who keeps her faith when everyone around her is losing theirs. It's the friend who holds your hand in silence and doesn't need to say a word. This kind of strength leaves a legacy. Not because it's flashy, done, but because it's faithful. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's deep. And depth always outlasts noise. Depth sustains when the excitement fades. Depth anchors you when the winds rise. Quiet strength doesn't come from the outside in. It flows from the inside out. It's planted in the soul, watered by experience, routed in truth. And once it grows, nothing can uproot it. It's a force more powerful than any show of might because it doesn't need to be seen to be real. It just is.